Good evening and welcome to the news at 10. His Majesty King Abdullah presented the King Abdullah II of Jordan Prize for World Interfaith Harmony Week 2018. Given an appreciation of efforts to boost coexistence among followers of different religions, the prize was proposed by His Majesty at the UN General Assembly's 65th session and adopted unanimously in October 2010. During the ceremony held at Al Husseiniya Palace, His Royal Highness Prince Ghazi bin Muhammad, the King's Special Advisor for Religious and Cultural Affairs, delivered a speech in which he said the prize is in constant growth, commending King Abdullah's efforts to promote peace and harmony among peoples. The first prize was awarded to the Interfaith Centre of Melbourne from Australia. The second prize was awarded to an Indonesian event on the World Interfaith Harmony Week, and the third prize was granted to the Interfaith Dialogue in Glasgow, Scotland, after holding an event on friendship, dialogue and cooperation between religions. The World Interfaith Harmony Week is an annual platform to spread awareness and understanding among followers of different religions through activities and events. The European Union and the United Nations called for swift political talks to end the long war in Syria, saying the latest territorial gains by Damascus and its allies had not brought peace any closer. The UN Special Envoy for Syria, Staffan de Mistura, spoke at an international donor conference hosted by the European Union in Brussels, which will seek more than $6 billion in aid for the country. The EU's top diplomat, Federica Mogherini, also said peace could only be built by the Syrian people themselves.
We have seen in the last few weeks, days, we have seen it with our eyes, that military gains, territorial gains, and military escalation does not bring a political solution, has not brought any change on the political goal. On the contrary, we are going through a very difficult moment.
Syria is not a chessboard. It's not a geopolitical game. Syria belongs to the Syrian people, and the Syrian people have to decide themselves about the future of their country. And it's when a political stalemate is so dramatic as it is today, and the military escalation risks to spread even further and even deeper, that the role and the voices of the Syrians, of the men and women and young men and women of the country counts the most.
Meanwhile, UN High Commissioner for Refugees, Filippo Grandi, warned of a new disaster if the rebel-controlled Syrian city of Idlib was the next target of the military. Civilians can no longer flee fighting and bombing raids in Syria because borders are so tightly controlled, he said. Grandi described Syria as becoming a trap and in some places a death trap. The UN chief is hoping to raise $5.6 billion from international donors for emergency humanitarian aid for Syrian refugees this year. French President Emmanuel Macron urged U.S. President Donald Trump to keep U.S. forces in Syria for the time being. During a meeting at the White House, Trump, however, did not promise to leave the troops in Syria, but made clear they would not be withdrawn immediately. Macron said the goal in Syria is to ensure Syrians will be able to live in peace, adding that it was impossible to give a timeline on the end of France's involvement there. On Iran, the two leaders pledged to try to resolve U.S.-European differences on the nuclear deal. Macron said they had discussed a new deal that would strengthen the 2015 accord along the lines Trump wants, such as by addressing Iran's expansion in the Middle East and its ballistic missile program. But with a deadline on U.S. economic sanctions against Iran looming next month, it was unclear whether the two allies made substantial progress on the future of the deal. Trump continued to call the deal terrible, ridiculous and insane, and threatened Iran with repercussions should it restart its nuclear program. Macron came to Washington hoping to persuade Trump to keep the United States in the Iran agreement, saying it offered the best chance to constrain Tehran, imperfect as it may be. He told Trump the accord is part of a broader picture of security in the region.
They will have bigger problems than they have ever had before.
Back here at home, Her Majesty Queen Rania visited the village of Haiyan, Ruwaibat in Mafraq Governorate to meet with members of the local community, including beneficiaries of an economic empowerment program supported by the Royal Hashemite Court. Her Majesty visited the Haiyan Ruwaibat Society for Social Development and met with beneficiaries of the grant scheme. The grant scheme is being implemented in Mafraq, Zarqa, Gleel, Rusaifa and Azraq through 23 civil society organizations. In Mafraq alone, the grant scheme has led to the launch of 144 family businesses, including vocational, commercial and agricultural projects. Her Majesty also made a stop at the Haiyan Ruwaibat Al-Sharqi Elementary Co-Educational School. She ended her visit by dropping in on two of the families that have received support through the Royal Grant Scheme, observing their income-generating projects firsthand. In sports, David Goffin recovered from a set, saved a match point and went on to beat Marcel Granorez at the Barcelona Open. The Belgian was on the point of going out at 4-6, 1-5 down in the second round to the Spaniard before staging a fine comeback. With his 4-6, 7-6, 6-2 win, Goffin will meet either Argentina's Leonardo Mayer or Karen Khachanov in the third round. And finally, for a quick look at the weather, unstable conditions are expected to affect the country tomorrow, pushing temperatures down with the possibility of rain. Amman can expect a high of 22 degrees Celsius and a low of 10 degrees. Scattered rain is also expected in the Gulf of Aqaba, with daytime temperatures at 26 degrees, dropping down to 17 at night. And with this, we come to the end of this edition of the news. I'm Ali Atuqan. Thank you for joining us and have a good night.